Some couples walk through the world like they were made for each other. They laugh easily, finish each other's thoughts. They look like love was written in their DNA. But behind closed doors, something is missing. Other couples clash, different in every way. Logic says they shouldn't work, but somehow they do. They weather storms. They emerge stronger, deeper, more connected. Why? What makes love last through time and hardship? Why do some couples evolve while others quietly erode? It's not luck. It's not about soulmates or perfect compatibility. And it's certainly not about avoiding conflict. It's about awareness, about how we show up, about what we do after the fairy tale ends. It's about how you love and who you become through that love. So ask yourself, what kind of couple are you? And more importantly, what kind of couple could you become if you dared to look deeper? Stay with me, because over the next few minutes, we'll explore 7 types of couples you'll probably recognize. And one type, just one, that holds the secret to building a love that doesn't just survive, but transforms you. Let's begin with a true moment. I was sitting across from a couple in a private session. On paper, they were perfect, smiling, polite, well-dressed, saying all the right things, but something felt hollow. I gently asked, "When was the last time you felt truly seen by each other?" The room fell silent. She looked away. Her smile faltered. He stared at the floor. And that silence? It said more than words ever could. This is far more common than you'd think, because love doesn't usually die with a bang. It fades in silence. It disappears in missed moments, in words left unsaid, in disconnection we normalize. We think lasting love is about not fighting. But research from relationship expert Dr. John Gottman reveals something deeper. It's not whether you fight, it's whether you repair. Love lasts when it feels safe, when it's conscious, when it's tended to. So today, we're not here to judge anyone. We're here to reflect, to grow in awareness, to learn how to love with eyes wide open. 1. The codependent couple. This couple seems close, inseparable. They spend every moment together. They say the same things. They claim they can't live without each other. It sounds romantic. But beneath the surface, one or both people feel like they can't exist alone. They've merged, but not in wholeness, in fear. In codependent relationships, identity dissolves. You become who your partner needs you to be. Their emotions become yours. Their pain becomes yours. And your sense of self begins to disappear. This isn't love, it's survival. True intimacy requires boundaries, a healthy I within a strong we. Ask yourself, am I giving love or losing myself in it? If your wholeness depends on someone else's presence, you're not in a relationship, you're in captivity. The competitive couple. This couple loves each other, but they also want to win. Who works harder? Who's more successful? Who gives more? Who sacrifices less? Even kindness becomes transactional. It's not a partnership, it's a scoreboard. This dynamic often comes from unhealed self-worth. Each partner is trying to prove something, often not to each other, but to themselves. They confuse respect with dominance, love with leverage. When ego leads the relationship, the connection becomes a tug of war. The truth is, in real love, there are no winners, only teammates. Ask yourself, am I trying to win or am I trying to connect? 3. The roommate couple. They share space, share responsibilities, maybe even a bed. But emotionally, they live separate lives. No fights, no passion, just routine, logistics, silence. They operate like housemates, sometimes like colleagues, but not like lovers. This emotional disconnect is often a form of self-protection. Somewhere along the way, feelings became unsafe, so they shut down. Not with cruelty, but with quiet detachment. The tragedy is they stop reaching, and without reaching, there's no relating. Ask yourself, when's the last time you looked at your partner, not as a task, but as a gift? 4. The social media couple. Online, they're flawless. Perfect vacations, coordinated outfits, captions full of love. But behind the filters, they're barely talking. They touch their phones more than each other. They seek likes instead of intimacy. This is called performative intimacy. The image of love becomes more important than the experience of it. And over time, this illusion creates loneliness. Because love cannot grow in an audience. It grows in quiet, private, unfiltered connection. Ask yourself, are we connecting or just curating? 5. The volatile couple. They fight hard, love harder, break up, make up, over and over. They call it passion, but really, it's chaos. This is a trauma bond, fueled by highs and lows, intensity and instability. One partner may fear abandonment, the other fears being engulfed. Together, they cycle through conflict and closeness like a drug. It's addictive, but it's not safe. Ask yourself, does this fire keep us warm, or is it burning us alive? 6. The avoidant couple. No fighting, no conflict, but also no depth. They avoid difficult conversations, suppress emotions, distract themselves with work, kids, screens, anything but each other. Conflict feels dangerous. Vulnerability feels like exposure, so they stay on the surface. But surface love can't hold weight. Eventually, everything buried becomes a wall. Ask yourself, what am I afraid to say out loud? The hardest conversations are often the ones that bring us closest. 7. The conscious couple. This couple is not perfect, but they're intentional. They fight, but they repair. They communicate, not to win, but to understand. They grow, not just individually, but as a shared vision. They make space for each other's truth. They stay curious. They stay committed, not just to staying together, but to becoming better together. This is secure love, built on self-awareness, emotional responsibility, and mutual respect. They know that love isn't something you fall into. It's something you build, brick by brick, choice by choice. Ask yourself, are we growing together or just growing older? This isn't opinion. It's not theory. It's science. A groundbreaking Harvard study that spanned over 80 years found this. The single most important factor for long-term happiness is the quality of our closest relationships. Dr. Sue Johnson's research on emotionally focused therapy shows that couples who learn how to turn toward each other during conflict build more lasting intimacy. And Dr. Stan Tatkin's work in the neurobiology of love confirms we are biologically wired to connect, but that connection only thrives when we feel safe, seen, and supported. So no, this isn't romantic fluff. It's neuroscience, it's psychology, it's your future, waiting to be written differently. So now, ask yourself again, what kind of couple are you? And more importantly, what kind of couple do you want to be? You don't have to repeat the patterns you grew up watching. You don't have to stay stuck in a cycle of disconnection. You don't have to accept a version of love that makes you smaller, quieter, or more alone. You can choose again. You can heal, alone or together. It begins with awareness. So take a breath, take a look, take a step, and remember, your relationship will only grow as deep as you're willing to go with yourself, because the relationship you're in is always a mirror of the one you have within. Heal the mirror, and the love becomes clear. Subscribe to Dovey Hearts for more.